the raucous, gay, sad music of a generation more closely scrutinized than young people have ever been. This is a cross-section of the young, students, office workers, shopgirls, apprentices, enwrapped by rhythms that separate them from the old. Or are they so separate, so different from the way young people have always been? Certainly they mature earlier physically, which creates problems. They have more money, are less influenced by adults. They stop being children sooner. But is their moral behavior different? There are ominous statistics of promiscuity, and they drink more. Even though jazz clubs are usually unlicensed, they show a freedom that would have astonished an older generation. And how much do the young care? At this jazz festival, 210 policemen represented the adult world, playing what must have seemed to the fans a familiar adult role.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
But one gathers from the press and from some of the young people here that many young people don't have the moral sense they might have. Would you agree with that?
Well, certainly I think that is true in the extent that it has come with the more broad-minded attitude of the past few years. But at the same time, I think that the press and the other authorities are apt to seize on the opportunity of painting black the colour of the young teenager of today.
What about you yourself? Would you say you had a moral sense?
Well, I happen to be a Christian, so I'm sort of in an obligatory position, you know.
Did you come here on your own today?
Yes.
Do you expect to be leaving on your own?
We hope not.
Well, you know, one hears, for instance, that one-fifth of the young women who do get married nowadays are pregnant when they get married. I mean, does this surprise you?
No.
It doesn't?
No.
Equally, I was told today by a young man that if he went to a dance, he could always pick up a girl. Do you think this is true?
I think so, yes.
Do you think it's bad or good?
I don't think it's particularly bad.
It depends how people behave afterwards.
Yes.
What do you think about the kind of thing that older people or the newspapers say about jazz and about young people?
Well, of course, there are probably an element that are keen on jazz that give it a bad name, and of course the papers pick on that, and people reading the papers get the wrong idea about the whole thing.
Yeah. It is the wrong idea, is it?
I feel so, yes.
But, you know, there are some statistics about young people. Now, for instance, the fact that one-fifth of all young women who get married are pregnant. Now, do you find this alarming?
Not alarming, no. No, I don't think so. It all boils down to the fact, I think, that people are leaving school at an early age and are earning fantastic wages, really, before they're mature enough to be able to conduct themselves properly, I think.
Well, you're still in school. Now, do you think that young people who do stay in school until their late teens have a sort of higher moral sense than people who leave earlier?
Well, probably not a higher moral sense, but I don't think they have the opportunity to exploit it.
What's in that can?
Well, in the can is whiskey, gin, vintage cider and bitter.
Doesn't it make you sick anyway?
Not make me sick. Makes me, gives a bit of a kick.
What job do you do?
I'm a steel director.
How old are you?
18.
How much do you earn?
I draw about £16.10 a week.
What do you do with it, most of it? How much do you spend on yourself?
I spend it on myself and drink and more stuff. Like, I can't save usually.
You can't save?
I try, but I can't.
But you know, one hears that young people don't have the moral sense that they might have. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yes, definitely.
In what way does it show itself?
Well, if you go to a dance, I mean, you don't say, you think that girl, is a nice girl. You usually say, do you think a girl, well, you know what I mean? You think you should...
Do most girls?
Most, yeah, definitely.
But you're one-fifth of the young women who get married are pregnant when they get married. Does this seem a bad thing to you?
No, it's their own fault, isn't it? If they don't take care of it. It is their own fault, I think.
You don't think there's anything wrong with this?
No. I mean, all my friends, you're fine. I mean, everybody I know, all boys I know, don't know any different. Well, I mean, no. It's not that they don't know any different, but they just don't care, Just don't care don't care about a girl. I mean, you hear them. I'll tell you the truth, mate. They don't. As long as they don't get in trouble, I don't care whether the girl gets into trouble or not. As long as they don't.
Would you like to get married young?
No, definitely not. I'm about 27, 28. Rather than enjoy myself first. I can't see you enjoy yourself when you're married.
Well, you're implying that every time you go to a dance, you can find a girl, but What if there are 3 dances a week?
Not every time. But if you try really hard, and you're not particular, you usually end up all right.
Do you think that this kind of behaviour is general among young people, or is it just you and your friends?
No, it's general. As far as people I've met, young people that I've met. I mean, I've been at a jazz festival all over England now, and there's it's just general. It is. I mean, you don't usually discuss anything else.
You mean all you talk about is sex?
Usually, yeah. I'm honest now, but except from jazz, I mean, nothing else that I prefer. But I'm just mad about jazz. That's why you can put it, mad.
Would you say you're madder about jazz than you are about sex?
Yeah, if it come to it, honestly, I would. I'd rather prefer jazz than sex.
At this festival, it was just jazz. It couldn't have been more innocent. It's very easy to moralize about the young, especially when youth's a long way past. And if there is a change in attitudes towards sex among young people, with undoubtedly a lower moral standard, but only among some, who is to blame? It's also easy to forget their other qualities, their vigor and their gaiety. These young people will be responsible citizens soon enough. On this summer's day, it was just jazz.